Welcome back, everyone, with Living by the Word with Minister Freddie McDowell. Thank you for returning as we continue to go through the scriptures. We left off yesterday in Genesis chapter 24, and we're going to finish today with Genesis chapter 24 as we continue to move forward. Now, yesterday we seen that Abraham's servant was successful in finding Isaac a wife. And now we're going to continue that story with Abraham's servant, with Rebekah, and with Mr. Laban, Rebekah's brother. We're going to get started right now at verse 35. So let's get going. And the Lord had blessed my master greatly, and he became great, and he had given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and men servants and maid servants and camels and asses. Now, this is Abraham's servant, his chief servant, that was sent out by Abraham to find Isaac a wife. Now, we come up upon Rebekah and Rebekah's family. Now, this is Abraham's family. This is Abraham's kindreds in the land of Mesopotamia. Okay, so the servant had left the land of Canaan, where Abraham is at now, and the servant has gone into the land of Mesopotamia, where Abraham had told him to go. This is Abraham's chief servant, remember? And so when he got there, Abraham said, "You used to find my son Isaac a wife among my kindreds, among my people," right? Because Abraham did not want Isaac to marry a Canaanite woman. And so now the servant has arrived. He met Rebekah, and Rebekah met all the signs that the servant prayed for. That says, "Lord, if she meets these signs, if she does these things, I know that you made my journey prosperous. I know that this would be the woman that would be for Isaac, and you made my journey successful, and you have blessed my servant Abraham, my master Abraham." And so now the servant is in the household of Rebekah and Rebekah's brother and Rebekah's family member. This is Abraham's kindred. He's actually been invited into the household by Laban, which was Rebekah's brother. He's there. And now we see that he's given a story to them about why he's on his journey, why he is there, why the Abraham sent him to among his kindreds to talk to them, and he's giving them the reason of what's going on and why is he on this long journey. And he's starting off, this is the servant now, saying that Abraham, he's talking about Abraham right here. And the servant is telling the household, he's telling Rebekah, he's telling Laban, which is Rebekah's brother, he's telling all the family members, her father, her mother, everyone, about why he's on this journey. Now look what it says right here. He started out by saying, "And the Lord has blessed my master." This is what? Abraham. "And the Lord had blessed my master greatly, and he has become great." This is Abraham. He has become great, and he has given him flocks. Abraham has been given a lot of flocks, a lot of herds, a lot of silver, a lot of gold, a lot of men servants, and a lot of maid servants, and what? Camels and asses. "And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, unto him hath given all that he hath." Now he said, now Sarah, okay, she is the mother of Isaac. Okay, now this is his master's wife. This is Abraham's wife. And guess what he said? He's explained to them that she had a son, which is Isaac. And she had this son when she was old. She was an old woman. So this obviously is going to be a blessing, right? And guess what? And unto Isaac, have all he has given, all that he has. Isaac is the heir to everything. He said that now Sarah had a son. Okay, his name is Isaac. And unto him hath he given all that he hath. And so now look at all the things that Abraham has, okay? "And the Lord had blessed my master greatly, and he has become great, and he hath" what? "Flocks, herds, silver, gold, men servants, maid servants, camels, and asses." Now look at all the things This is of Abraham. This is all the things that Abraham has. He was blessed by God in a great way. Now watch this. Now Sarah, she done passed along. She done passed on when we went through that. And she had a son. His name was Isaac. Now Isaac is the heir to all of these things that Abraham has. He is the sole heir. Okay? So now I can imagine he has their attention. Now look at verse 37. And my master made me swear, saying, thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I dwell. Now Abraham is in the land of Canaan, and he did not want, Isaac to marry a Canaanite woman. And we talked about that in the previous episode. Now look right here, verse 38. But thou shalt go unto my father's house and to my kindreds and take a wife unto my son. And the servant is there talking to them now. Now look at verse 39. And I said unto my master, peradventure or perhaps the woman will not follow me. We went through that story. And he said unto me, the Lord before whom I walk will send his angels with thee and prosper thy way, and thou shalt take a wife of my son, of my kindred, and of my father's house. Abraham is sure that he will be successful and he would be prosperous in this journey, because Abraham said, the Lord, my God, will go before thee, will send what? Angels with you to make sure that this happens. Now watch this right here. 41, verse 41. Then shalt thou be clear from this oath when thou comest to my kindreds, and if they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear from my oath. Now watch this right here. And that won't happen, of course. Now verse 42, and I came this day unto the well and said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well in the water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy what? Pitcher to drink. Now he's saying that, listen, he's saying that when I came into the land, this is y'all land, I'm in the land, and I say, oh Lord, pray thee, he asking the Lord for a sign. Right? And he's saying that he's explaining this to the household of of Rebekah and Laban and all the members of the household. He said that when I got here, he said, oh Lord, send me a sign that when I ask a virgin to give me something to drink, when I ask a virgin to give my camel something to drink, she would do it. This would be a sign. And she comes from the household of what? She comes from the household of Abraham, or the kindreds of Abraham. This would be a sign. And he is telling them that Rebekah has met these signs, and he is giving them the whole story of what's going on. He is going through everything that happened in the last few hours when he was spending time with Rebekah. As Rebekah met these requirements, she met these criteria to see if she would be the one. So let's move forward and let's finish his story. And look what he said right here. He said, listen, in verse 43, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin come forth to draw water, and I say to her, give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink. And she say unto me, both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels. Let the same be the woman whom the Lord hath appointed out of my master's sons. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down unto the well and drew water. And I said unto her, let me drink, and I pray thee. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder and said, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, whose daughters art thou? And she said, the daughters of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earrings upon her face and the bracelet upon her hands. And I bowed down my head and worshiped the Lord and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which hath led me in the right way to take my master's brothers' daughters unto his son. Now, this is the story we went through in the previous episode. And Rachel, I don't know why I keep saying Rachel, but and Rebekah had met all these requirements, and he explaining to the household that she met all these requirements, and she must be the one that the Lord is going to choose for Isaac's what? For Isaac's wife. She has to be the one, because everything that I said while I was still thinking in my own heart, she met all these requirements. And so that's why I put the gold earrings on her ears. I put the gold bracelets on her. And I told her, I want to go and meet your family. And we are here, right now. And I think for sure that God has blessed my journey. He has blessed my master's will, what my master's wishes. And now I am here to to bring Rebekah to Isaac. Now, that's the story. Now he told them the story. Now they all have to soak this in. They got to listen. They're listening to him. Okay. And they seeing, all the camels and all the things like that. They see the gold. They see the camel. They see the men servants. They see the men that's with him. And they believe him. They believe him 100%, because it's just evident that he's telling the truth, because all the things he have with him. And plus they know Abraham anyway. They know that Abraham is part of them. They probably didn't know about Isaac being born, because they was such a distance away. And so that's why he told them about Sarah and having a son, Abraham's wife having a son, which was Isaac. Now they had to point it out that it was Sarah. I'm sure they knew who Sarah was. They pointed out this is the one. They already knew who Abraham was, so they understood that. So it was not hard for them at all to believe what the Abraham servant is saying. They was believing him, and they were believing him wholeheartedly. That wasn't a problem to believe him. Now we're going to see what's going to happen right now, as they're going to let Rebekah decide. Now look what the servant is saying right here, verse 49. And now if ye will deal kindly and truly with my master, this is Abraham, tell me, and if not, tell me, and if I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Now what he's saying is, okay, now will you deal truly with my master Abraham? Tell me. If not, tell me if I should turn to the right hand or my left. Is I'm good to go? Or are you guys going to deny me? Do you believe my story or you don't? Will you let me go and accomplish this mission with Rebekah, or you're not? See, he's saying that I would like to. Rebekah met all the signs. She met all the criteria that I prayed for, and all these things happened. And so I would like to present Rebekah, take Rebekah back with me to Abraham, and then present her to Isaac as a bride. And now, would you guys would allow me to do this? Will you be truly, will you be kind and truly to my master Abraham if you allow me to take Rebekah back to Isaac as a bride? Now look here. Now Laban, he seemed to be the spokesperson. He seemed to be the one that's always speaking up for the family. And he's the one that's always communicating first. I'm sure other people were saying things, the other adults in the household, mom, the father, the other brothers, the other sisters, they all got something to say, because they watching all these camels out there. They see this Abraham servant, and the Abraham servant got servants. They seeing all these things. They never seen these people before. So believe me, there was a lot of conversation. There was a lot of talk. There was a lot of communication. There was a lot happening, because this is exciting. And you can imagine how exciting Rebekah must be, because this is all about her. This entire journey is about Rebekah, right? So, but Laban is the one who always speak out. You see, Laban is the one who I don't know if he's the spokesperson or not, but he sure make his presence known. Watch this. And Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the things proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Now what they're saying is, if the Lord said these things, we're going to be neutral. We're not going to say this is good, and we're not going to say this is bad. If the Lord said it, we're just not going to what? We're not going to cause any situation. We're not going to make no conflict out of this at all, because obviously they do believe him. Now Laban, this is this is Rebekah's brother, and then Bethuel, this is her father, answered and said, the things proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak neither bad or good. Now watch this right here, verse 51. And behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go and let her by the master's son's wife, as the Lord has spoken. Now listen right here. It said, behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord has spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshiped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. Now, what they're saying is Laban and which is Rebekah brother, and Bethuel, her father, saying, hey, listen. They said, Rebekah is before you. You can go ahead and take her, and then she can be what? She can be Isaac's bride. That's what they're saying. So now the journey of Abraham's servant is complete. So Abraham sent his servant out on a journey to complete a mission, and the journey and the mission itself is now complete. Isaac now has a wife, and Isaac's wife will be Rebekah. And Rebekah will be going back to the land of Canaan with Abraham's servant. So wow, what a wonderful thing, right? Isaac is going to be very, very happy when he see Rebekah. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he what? He worshiped the Lord, bowed himself to the earth. Now, when Abraham's servant heard the words saying, hey, Rebekah, she can go with you. She can be Isaac's wife. And he immediately bowed down on the earth and worshiped the Lord, because now his mission has been accomplished. His journey is complete. He was able to fulfill the will of his master Abraham, and he was able to what? Get Isaac a bride. Wonderful thing. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver, jewels of gold, raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also her brother and her mother precious things. Right? Look at that. He gave all these things to Rebekah, and he also gave to her brother Laban and her mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, and the men were with, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother, I think that was Bethuel, that's the mother, we'll check it out in a minute, and said, let the damsel abide with us for a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away, that I may go to my master. Now they saying, okay, Abraham's servant said, I am ready to move on. They had a good meal. He tarried and talked to them all night. They had a good meal. He woke up in the morning, said, listen, send me my way. And they saying, oh, we're not ready for her to go yet. Oh, can she stay a little bit long, at least 10 more days? And he said, hinder me not. I need to move forward. And so they kind of reluctant to let Rebekah go so fast, but they do understand that he's on a mission and he need to get back. And so, hey, it's time for Rebekah to pack up and leave. And I guarantee you, Rebekah already have her things already packed. She probably was packing that night when they was eating and drinking and talking and getting to know each other. Rebekah is excited. She's ready to go. I'm sure her bags was packed. Okay. And there was no problem telling her to get your stuff together, because those things was already together. I can assure you of that. Now, look at verse 57. And they said, we will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. Now they saying, listen, we want to see what she says about, heading on out and what? And leaving right away. So they don't let Rebekah make a decision on her own. And here it is right here. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. Like I said, I told you. She's already got her bags packed. She is ready to go. She's excited. They told Rebekah, said, listen, this is the story. Rebekah, I'm sure, heard the story over and over again. And Rebekah had already made up her mind, because believe me, she know everything that Abraham master said. She heard the whole story, because remember, he tarried there all day and all night. And this is the next day. Okay, so she probably didn't get a drop of sleep that whole night, because she knows that this entire journey was about her. She knows that Abraham's servant is coming to get her. And she knows that she would be a bride for Isaac. And she knows that she going to a household of men that is well known and very, very blessed and prosperous of God. She knows that. So she's already got her bags packed. So they said, let us ask the damsel. Let us ask Rebekah if do she really want to go with you? And they said, yes. She said, yes, I'm ready to go. So look what it says right here. Verse 59. And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. Now they sent them away. Rebekah made a decision that she will go. And they sent Rebekah away, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham And Abraham men's servant. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gates of those which hate them. Now they are prophesying. This is a prophecy. What a wonderful thing. This is one of the reasons why Abraham wanted, Isaac wife, Isaac bride to come from his kindred, because they have this mindset of the same type of God, the same type of prayer, and the same type of worship. And they seem to know something here. Look what they says right here. Remember that Isaac is the promised child, and from his seed shall millions of the earth, for all the nations of the earth is to be blessed. And what did God say to Abraham? Your seed will be like the like the stars cannot be numbered, and like the sand on the oceans or the beach that cannot be numbered, they'll be innumerable. And these people seem to already have an idea about that. They bless Rebekah. Look at what it says right here. Now, they don't know about this promise. Let me say this before we move forward. They don't know about this promise that God made with Abraham. And they don't know about that Abraham will be the father of many nations. And they don't know about that Sarah be the mother of many nations. They don't know that at all. They don't even know pretty much very little. They didn't know Isaac at all. They didn't know that Sarah probably passed away and probably hadn't seen Abraham or who knows when, right? But look at this. They are prophesying here to Rebekah, and this prophecy will come true. And this is what God has promised. This is what God has promised to Abraham. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, thou art our sister, be the mother of thousands of millions, and thy seed possess the gates of those which hate them. Isn't that something? And that's exactly the prophecy that God told Abraham. You'll be the thousands of millions, and you will possess the gates of your enemy. Your seed will. Now watch this here. See, these people they know about the God of Abraham. Now look at right here, because if they didn't know that, then I don't think they would be able to make this prophecy. Now watch this here. Verse 61. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man, and the servants took Rebekah and went his way. Now look what it says right here. And Rebekah arose and her damsels. So this is Rebekah and her sisters and her nurse. They all going. She's not going all by herself. She's going with a company. And this is close relative here. And that is typically a very, very normal and a very usual when one person will leave, they will not leave alone. Now, watch this right here. And Isaac came from the way of the well, Laharah, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field of the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels was coming. Now, Isaac lived on the south side. He lived a little bit distance from his father. Wasn't that far, but it was a little distance from his father. And Abraham did not want him to come back into the land of Canaan. He said, don't bring my son back here in this land of Canaan. You go and find him a what? A wife from my kindreds, and don't let my son marry a Canaanite woman. You go and find him a wife, among my kindred, among my land. And now his servant was able to do that. And look what it says right here. Isaac came from the way of the well, Laharah, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. This is later on in the evening. And lifted up his eyes. And guess what? He saw from a distance all the camels of Abraham's servant, and a company with him. They are coming, and Isaac sees this for himself. And I can assure you, because he knows why Abraham's servant went out on a mission. And he knows that Abraham's servant, when he went out with just him and maybe just a few other men. But now he's coming back with a multitude of people. Rebekah nurse, and Rebekah what? Damsels, the damsels with her. So he knows that this journey must have been successful, and he is excited. He did not go against his father's will. He did not marry a Canaanite woman. He waited very patiently, and his patience has now paid off in a very good way. Now watch this right here. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, what man is that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she looked and veiled and covered herself. Now, she sees Isaac walking towards them. Isaac was in the field. Remember, during the evening, he saw them coming, and Rebekah sees him, right? But she didn't know who he was, so she asked Abraham's servant, who is that man? He said, now that's my servant, Isaac. So now we know that Isaac will inherit all the things of Abraham. So the servant, Abraham's servant, saying, Isaac is my servant, because Isaac will inherit all the men servants, the maid servant, and everything else, the camels, the asses, the goats, the flocks, the gold, the silver, the land. Isaac will inherit all of that. And so that's why the servant said, Abraham's servant said, that is my servant who? That is my servant Isaac. And listen to that. And she took a veil and covered herself. Now what she did is she went towards him. She covered herself. Now I'm sure when she saw Isaac, she was excited, because Isaac is a very handsome young man. He wasn't no old man at all. And so she's not going to have an old man. And he was a young man. I say Isaac was probably in his late 20s, early 30s at this point. And he was an attractive man. Now watch this. And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she, hold on right there, and she did what? And she comforted Isaac. She became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted by her after his mother's death. And so that is it. And we have made it through chapter 24. When we went through